Hey guys, so I just want to let you all know that after today's video, we'll be going on break for the month of August like I did last year. So yeah, I'm going to be going on break this month for August. It's going to be kind of chilling, relaxing, going on family vacation soon, so that should be fun. I mean, the channel will be mostly on break for the month of August. Like, primarily I'm going to be focusing on getting the VidCon vlogs finally finished editing and up and ready to go. So yeah, those will be up at some point during the month of August. I don't know exactly when, but they will be up at some point, so stay tuned for that. And I probably may also upload some YouTube shorts, every now and then, maybe throughout August as well. Like, if there's a new movie I saw that I want to give a quick little review on, I'll probably make a short about that, or some other little thing. You never know. It's good way to still keep engagement going on the channel also with the shorts. So yeah, but for the most part, the major thing to stay tuned for during the month of August is those VidCon vlogs. But besides that, the channel will be on break. So the normal upload schedule Tuesday will be stopped for now. It will continue back up in September. So yeah, just want to let you all know that. I'm just going to be taking it easy for the month besides the VidCon vlogs. And yeah. Alright, so yeah, thank you all. That's all I want to let you all know. And yeah, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys all back in September and the VidCon vlogs this month at some point. So yeah, enjoy the video. I'm going to give you guys a little heads up and an apology right now that I'm having some issues with this mic, every now and then, depending on the video, and the audio might not sound good. So if that's the case, I've probably muted the audio in this video, and you'll be able to tell while you're watching it. So I just want to give you a little heads up there right now in case that's the case. You can see I'm wearing a mic. So yeah, just want a little heads up there. Sorry.
Hello there.
I'm Pickle Rick! Let's do it, guys! Right. It's morphin' time!
Avengers! Assemble.
What's up, guys? Brendan back here again today with another Geek Culture Talk on the channel, and we're still yet not on a new set, which I've promised probably a few videos already at this point, but we will get to it soon at some point eventually. Don't hold your hopes up, I guess, but I do want to get to that new set at some point, or back on a set at least, something for the videos, but this one doesn't really require set for what I'm doing for this episode, so we're just here on the couch. So yeah, today is going to be a special fun little video because, of course, this year, the new Superman movie made by James Gunn is coming out, and I'm really excited for that. I think we're all excited for it. It looks really good, really fun, so I'm looking forward to it, and I thought there's no better time than to finally watch this movie, which is this one right here, which is Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, specifically. So, yes. So, obviously, of course, by the title of this movie here, it says the Richard Donner cut, so it's clearly a director's cut. So, and also, obviously, watching this video, we're not actually, watching the whole film, reacting to it, because I don't have the ability to do that. I don't know how to get a copy of this off thing. It'll take too long for me to edit. I'm not going to bother, so it's just me, to talk about afterwards. But yeah, so yeah, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. So if you don't know what this is, so basically back in the 70s, so 77, 78, when they were shooting, they shot the Superman 1 and 2 back to back then, which is kind of crazy. When I learned that, I'm like, wow, that's nuts, because I don't really associate films from back in that time era to shoot films back to back. Nowadays, of course, it's a bit more of a common thing. Matrix 1 and 2, Matrix 2 and 3, Pirates 2 and 3, Infinity War and Endgame, Wicked 1 and 2, even Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 shot back to back, in the late 80s, early 90s, something like that. But back in the late 70s, that was kind of impressive when I learned that, so that was cool. Forgot to mute my phone there, whoopsie. But yeah, they shot both films back to back, directed by Richard Donner and everything. And from my understanding, where I quickly Googled online, some tensions were rising with Richard Donner and the Salkinds, who were the producers behind the films. And eventually, once they completed Superman, the original one, the first one, and they released it, they fired him. They got rid of him. They were like, "You're gone." And they brought on Richard Lester, who would become the director of Superman 3 to finish up Superman 2. And basically, according to like what I heard when I watched Mr. Sunday Movies do a video talking about Superman 2, great video by the way from their show Caravan Garbage, check it out. Apparently, like in order for Lester to get like the credit on the film as director or whatever, it's like he had to shoot at least 51% of the movie, so he had to like reshoot all of like half the film to like get director's credit. So it's not if you're wondering, it's not really the same as like the Justice League scenario with like Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder, because like I know everyone refers to the theatrical cut of Justice League as Justice League, because that's just Joss Whedon messing with that film there. But like Joss Whedon, I think only reshot about 20 or 30% of that movie, so not enough to be given the main credit. So that's why Zack Snyder's name is still attached to that one. But this one here, I think like he had to reshoot at least half of it or more, and that's how he got the credit as a director in the film. So yeah, but then of course, obviously, this came out in 2006, so 26 years later after it came out, they finally released the Donner cut. And I Googled online how this actually came to be. And apparently, because like 2006, same year as Superman Returns, I thought maybe, did that have something to do with it? Like, did Superman Returns come out? Were they feeling like, hey, since Superman Returns is a quasi-sequel to Superman 2 and the Donner films, like, should we maybe bring this back out? And I was sort of right. Apparently, Bryan Singer actually managed to convince Warner Brothers to let Donner finish his cut of the film, like, which is impressive. So, something good Bryan Singer has done, I guess. That absolute freak. But yeah, apparently he convinced them to let them do this and everything. They got Donner in. He managed to finish the movie. Apparently he even got like Gene Hackman back in to like record some new dialogue that wasn't required for the film. So I'm not sure how noticeable that will be. It probably will be, since he'll probably like 20 some years older at that point. But I don't know. So yeah, he finished the movie, of course, like with the footage he'd already shot before Lester came and everything. So yeah. I don't know anything about this film besides one major difference with it, so I'm very curious to see what it's like and everything. I'm really excited actually, because Superman 2 I think it's good enough. I think like you can clearly tell watching like it's kind of all over the place a bit with its tone. Like you can tell there's two different director visions there. It's kind of like it's not a bad movie by any means, but like it's fun. Of course, it's still a fun time, but not on the same level as Superman the movie. And yeah, you can just feel like it's a little messy in some parts. So yeah, I'm hoping stuff like at least him like turning himself human is like better handled in this film, because in the Superman 2 it's like he becomes human and then almost immediately goes back to being Superman. It's like, okay, that was really quick. So last time I watched Superman 2 was 5 years ago, so it's still relatively fresh in my mind. So I'm sure while watching this I'll like start picking up on some stuff like, okay, I don't remember this in the movie at all. So yeah. So yeah, I'm going to watch this right now, then I'm going to come back to you guys and tell you what I thought of it, give my little review on it, and yeah, should be fun. So I'll see you guys in about 116 minutes. So yeah, I'll see you then. Okay, so I'm done the movie now, and yeah, I think I liked it more than the theatrical cut, honestly, because like there was like off the bat in the movie, there was like some very... I'm going to adjust the camera quickly. I will be going to full spoilers for this movie, so if you do want to watch the Richard Donner cut of the movie, go watch it yourself before I tell exactly what happens in it. Like, you can find it on Amazon to rent or anything as well, so like, go ahead and go watch it before you watch the review. If you don't care that much, then stick around. Off the bat, there was like immediately like there was stuff that was different about it. Or I guess I should say, before I actually get into the movie, like what was in the movie itself, like right before it started, there was even like there was a couple of messages before the movie that were saying stuff like, this is how the movie was intended to be originally viewed and everything, dedicated to Christopher Reeve, he helped us believe man could fly, stuff like that. And also in the middle of those two was one talk about how there were some like test scenes they used in this movie because they never got a chance to film those scenes, and obviously nowadays they can't film them because 26 years later since the film came out, actors of all age and some have passed away, like Christopher Reeve, I just said. So they used some test scenes. I couldn't really notice. I thought I could notice the test scenes, but I really couldn't. There's been maybe one scene, the fortress, I could be like, okay, that looks a little testy. But like, I don't know, I didn't really notice it that much, honestly. So like, it actually was pretty good how seamless it worked in the movie. So if there are more, I didn't really notice it. But yeah, like off the bat, like immediately you can tell how different it is because the theatrical cut starts off with like seeing like, Zod, Ursa, and whatever the big guy's name is again, I already forgot. Like you see them like breaking in some facility, stealing some ambiguous thing, and then like just very like quietly snapping a guy's neck, which is clearly just like in the movie, like the guy just turned the helmet of the dude, the helmet he was wearing to make it look like he snapped his neck, which looked kind of cheap. But no, in this movie, they pretty much replay the scene from the first movie, and that's like what they do in that whole opening. They like do a very quick like replay of the first movie, and when I mean like quick replay of the first movie, I mean like really quick. Like we have like of course like the trial scene on Krypton, and of course I'm exiled to the Fam Zone, but like it's like intercut with like scenes, like new scenes of like them floating around in the Fam Zone like thing, and then like we cut to Earth, we see Kal-El in his rocket ship, and he's like landing on Earth, and then we see him like. It jumps ahead to the end of the movie when he's like fighting Lex and like stopping the missiles and everything, being like, the kryptonite around him and all that. Like all that, we see all that, plus with like the new scenes of, Zod and his guys like in the Fam Zone thing. And we see how actually in this version, it's the ending of the movie, of the first movie, that causes them to break out in this one, because when Superman like launches like the first nuke missile out into like space, it actually launches like it's perfectly timed with the Fam Zone like coming across the area of space, so the warhead goes off right as they come by it, so the explosion causes them to be shattered out of the Fam Zone and everything. So like, and when they break out, Zod, they're all just floating around in space, and Zod goes like free, and it's like it feels a bit more chilling because it's like, oh damn, that now shit's getting going. They're like. So immediately it's like you can see why they shot them back to back, because this one really barrel rolls, like the first film really barrel rolls into this one, which is I thought was pretty cool. Then you have the opening title sequence and everything, but then afterwards like a lot of their movie is different. The other thing also that I did remember also, but I forgot until I started watching this film, is that Marlon Brando as Jor-El is in this one, whereas the theatrical cut he was not in it at all, because the reason he's not in the second one in the theatrical cut is because he sued the company or something like that. I actually forgot to look this up before I started recording this part of the review, so let me just quickly look it up. Okay, so the reason behind why he's not in the second one, like in the theatrical cut, is because I knew this part, they hired on Brando to be like, to add some he was the first actor they hired on for the movies, and they hired him on to add some real legitimacy to the movie. Like, hey, look, we got Marlon Brando, the Godfather, so like, check out our film. That's how they kind of were able to attract other people like Gene Hackman and everything. And because of that, he had obtained a crazy deal in the film where he gained like also 11% of the film's gross, which was a lot of money would have gained for like not a big role he really has. So the producers didn't want to pay him that again, even though they could afford to, according to what I was reading, because they were able to afford get Richard Lester to come in and reshoot a chunk of the movie. So like, it was a whole pay dispute thing, and so like I also think Brando also did sue them a little bit for that. So I don't know, it's a little complicated reading all of it quickly for this review, but yeah, essentially that's kind of what happened. So they reshot all of his scenes with the girl who played his mom on Krypton in the first film. I think it was like Susanna York is what I just read her name was. So yeah, what is her Laura? That's her name, right? Sorry. Yeah, Laura. They replaced all the scenes with her, but now we have Brando back in this film, so that's why in the theatrical cut they reshoot with that weird like version of the trial, but now in this one we have like the actual like just normal footage again and everything. So, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, the stuff that was kept in with Brando and how different that is, but. Yeah, the other major thing that's different is that after the opening credits, we have a scene in the Daily Planet where, Lois is looking at a newspaper, and it's clearly, like, happening, like, not long after Superman the movie, because, of course, like I said, the missile's what freed Zod and the others, and, like, it's pretty soon after the last film, because, like, we see them, it's maybe a day after, because we see, like, Lois looking at the newspapers they just released about Superman saving the day, Lex Luthor in prison, so it's very recent, so... Yeah, and she's looking at the newspaper, and, like, this is, again, the media difference that I knew this was also something that was different, but I didn't know to what extent. I knew there was a difference in how Lois finds out he's Superman, and in this one, she just takes a look at a photo in the newspaper, and then looks at Clark, and is like, huh, and she, like, draws, like, his full, like, outfit, the glasses and the hat, everything on a Superman photo, and is like, they look similar. And she starts nudging him on the whole time, and they're like, even like goes as far as like jump out of the building, like out of the window to see him catch her. Which, he managed to like get her to like not die and fall in, but without also revealing himself and everything. So that was cool. He lands all fine. And then another scene is like, we have another scene later on, which is just the same as like, the one that's in the theatrical cut where they're at Niagara Falls. Kid falls off the ledge, she's like clean. He saves her, and he wasn't there for that. She's like, what? And, she cleans his glasses for him and like sees him quickly without the glasses. That whole scene's the same still. But then the bigger difference is then when we get back to their apartments or the hotel room, sorry, where there, it's like, the Clark talk about how like, he feels really good being here, feeling like a real newlywed here with Lois. And, like, Lois not really paying attention that much to him right now. And he's like, okay, I get it. Like, I know you feel like you don't really want to be with me. I can't hold up to the same remarks as Superman, I guess. I'm going to have to deal with that and everything. But Lois, again, still nudging him on, saying how, like, or maybe you are the competition yourself. Maybe it's not two people. It's just you competing with yourself. And again, he's still like, Lois, like, it's so ridiculous that I'm Superman and everything. And Lois decides to, like, pull out a gun and shoot him. And of course, he's like, okay, the cat's out of the bag, so he takes off his glasses, and she was like, you are Superman, and he just stands there and looks at her like, if you were wrong, you would have just killed Clark Kent and not even shot Superman. And that's when Lois then reveals that, well, it's a good thing I didn't kill Clark Kent then, because these are blanks. And then he's like, shit. He just realized, like, because in the whole moment he was caught with the fact that she's about to shoot a gun, and he's like, oh shoot, I didn't get hit, because obviously he wouldn't get hit. So it's like, yeah, I guess I'm Superman. But then afterwards she reveals, yeah, they're blanks. There was nothing in them. It's like, oh, damn it. Like, I really like that scene over the one in the theatrical cut. The theatrical one is good still, because I do like how, like, it's kind of like subconsciously Clark reveals he's Superman in that hotel room, because, like, he, like, knowingly trips into the fire and his hand is get burnt, and then you see, like, how he takes off his glasses and, like, just turns around and, like, everything, he just changes. Like, it's a really great scene. Like, going from Clark, the Superman. It was really great acting from Reeve there. But, I like this one a lot more, because, like, unlike that film where it's kind of like, he really keeps, like just jumping hoops around, running circles around Lois, like, you're crazy, Lois. How could I be Superman? And he kind of just, like, lets her find out by just, like, stumbling and everything, like, all that. I like this one actually a lot more, where, like, it gives Lois, like, agency in the idea that, like, she's, like, actively, like, trying to figure out how to get him to reveal himself as Superman. So, the idea of, like, firing blanks at him, make sure, like, he is Superman, but also in case he isn't, doesn't kill him. So, like, I like that a lot, And a lot of the movie afterwards is really the same. There's a lot of similar stuff, Zod and the others, they do come to Earth, they attack the town, that's fun. There's a scene, though, where they do attack astronauts on the moon and kill them all, which I can't recall if that's in the theatrical cut, but I don't think it was, but it was a really cool scene. I do remember, I think in the theatrical cut it was that when they just kind of break out of the Phantom Zone just naturally or whatever, and they land on the moon, and that's kind of it. There was no one there. So, but this time around there's like astronauts and they kill them, which is like pretty dark. And yeah, I thought that was cool. And then there's the stuff in the fortress that is also different, where we have a scene of like Clark now talking to Jor-El and everything, and like this is a very different scene compared to the movie. Because now it's actually more so like, in the film it's kind of like this thing where he's in the theatrical cut, it's more like him talking to his mom saying, Mom, I love this girl, I want to be with her, so I'm going to stop being Superman. And she's like, okay. And they just kind of casually like let him give up his powers. But in this film it's more like, because Jor-El tells him like, you have a great responsibility and importance to be this hero for the Earth. And like, it's a back and forth with Superman. It's great acting from both of them, like Reeve and Brando, where he's like I understand my responsibility, but, like, why can't I feel what the Earthlings have? Why can't I be happy like they are? And he's telling them, like, because you already feel happiness. You not feel happiness with, like, all the responsibility and the good and what you do for these people and the gratitude they feel for you for that. Like, you don't feel happiness there. It's a really great scene in the back and forth. And, like, even Jor-El, like, he begs Clark when he finally tells him that you can use this chamber to, like, take away your powers, but please think on it. Don't do it. Like, it's a really great scene, really interesting. And even in that scene, Lois is actually wearing a nightgown that has the Superman logo on it, which I thought was fun. And after, like, him being humans also pretty much the same. Like, that's one thing I'll say that's, like, doesn't work in either cuts, is that he's human for, like, only a few minutes, and then immediately sees Zod on TV proclaiming that Zod is ruler! Zod! Superman, come out of hiding, you loser. And then he's like, I gotta become Superman, this is such a mistake. In both cuts, it's so quick how it happens. Like, oh, cool. Like, Superman's now a human. He's a normal guy. Cool. What's gonna happen with that? Oh yeah, wait. The plot's gotta keep going. We need him as Superman again immediately. It's like I don't think it works in either cuts of the movie. It just goes by too quick that bit. So yeah, but like at least it makes up for it with the scene after that where he goes back to the fortress and like literally the control panel that blew up when he was like turning himself into human. And he's like screaming and telling his father how he failed, and he screams out "Father!" And like it's a really good scene by Reeve, and it's like finally he does find one crystal still working, plugs in, and Jor-El talks to him, and like you see more of the consequence actually of doing this because in order to restore his power, they'll have to use all the remaining like energy left in the crystals, which includes this crystal that has like the sentient AI of Jor-El that talks to him. So like it's kind of a sad scene where like Clark's now like losing the last bit he has of his homeworld and everything, and so like it's a really good scene actually. So like I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't like how quick it was he was human, but like this makes up for it. This was fun. This was cool. I like the tension there. It's all really great. You know, that was cool. And you know, some other stuff that's like different, like the Zod and the others storm the White House. I can't recall if they stormed the White House. I think it's like because in the film there's no scene in this version where like Superman returns the top of the White House to it. Like there's no scene like that. So I think that they must have just opened it up in the theatrical cut, like took off the roof and jumped in. In this version, it's come crashing through, like the soldiers in there and cops and security, they all just start firing at them to no avail. It's a fun scene and everything. So most of the film is pretty much the same at this point, really, I'll say. Again, minus some like few differences. Like one thing I was shocked by was that probably the most iconic line, or like one of the most iconic lines from the movie, is Superman hovering outside the window of the LA Planet telling, hey, General, you care to step outside? That's not in this cut. That's a Richard Lester cut. Or maybe it's like an alternate take Donner had, but like in this version he tells like Zod, hey, General, don't you know about the freedom of speech in the press? Like something like that. And I was kind of like, oh, I preferred the other one definitely, because it's a really good line. And I'm like, okay. And yeah, you know, there's some fight scenes in the sky and in Metropolis that I can't recall how much of these are also from the theatrical cut or what was from this cut. I don't really know. But yeah, Spy, they go back to the Fortress of Solitude. You know, he tricks them into taking away their powers. They die, all that stuff. But then the ending is what is completely different. And like, it basically, at this point now, afterwards, they take Luthor. We don't actually see him take Luthor to jail. He just, like, heat visions and destroys the Fortress of Solitude. Presumably with Luthor still inside. So it's like, okay, bye, Luthor. But, like, I assume he's fine. But, like, yeah, he destroys Fortress of Solitude because now there's nothing left there for him to do with it. So just get rid of it. And he has his nice little hug and kiss with Lois. Talk about how, like, you know, and Lois says, I understand, look, yeah, you're needed. Like, we can't be together, really. You're needed out there. I can't hog you all myself. It's like, and you know, it takes her back to her apartment and everything, and they talk about how, you know, I'll see you tomorrow though, as Clark and everything. Yeah, like, yeah, maybe I probably won't be as mean to you now and all that. And it's a sad scene is him flying off and her crying, like, knowing this has to be the way, but it's like, again, you can't help but feel sad. And it's a really good scene because, like, they play it really much like this, really like this forbidden love kind of thing where it's like, she just can't have him and everything. And obviously, of course, a lot of Superman stuff nowadays, like has them, like, together and everything, so they make it work. But, you know, back then, it was, like, it works really well. I think it's really good. It was great stuff. And, yeah, again, like, no mind-erasing kiss. That's not a thing either. That's something Lester created. And, yeah, and I was really, this movie was really working for me. Like, again, besides, like, the whole thing with how quick it is him being human, the movie was really working for me. I was really digging it. Until that ending, the rest of the ending does not work for me, because although he doesn't mind eraser of a kiss, he does rotate the Earth back in time a second time to not only make her forget he's Superman, but undo the whole, like, movie, pretty much, I think, which, I gotta tell you, I really didn't like that about the movie. Like, I thought, like, come on, what? Like, in the first movie, okay, it's really hokey and dumb, obviously, in the first movie that it happened, because, like, he's rotating the Earth, like, backwards to, like, reverse time, which, like, of course, whole mess of things there. But, it works in that movie because it becomes this, like, real human emotion Clark feels, and he's, like, again, he's been told these lessons from his father that, like, you can't interfere with, like, the way the Earth works. You just have to help them, protect them, but, like, if certain things happen, you just gotta let it happen, That's kind of the basis for part of the plot for Quest for Peace, because, should he interfere with, like, denuclearizing the world, so there's that. But, he decides, I can't let her die, so, like, he does that, it's done, and yeah, then of course you think about, well then if you could have flown that fast, couldn't you have got both missiles? But of course, it's that, done, whatever. But then he does it again, just like, nah, I'm gonna do it again, and like, undoes the whole movie, and like, I don't know, because the missile's what freed Zod and the others, so like, what happens to that missile now? Do they just not, like, collide? Is that what happens now? Like, I don't know, like, what? It's like, and also like, because again, that scene in the diner is still in the movie where Clark gets beat up, and then the movie ends with him going back to the diner to get the revenge, and like it implies still that like they remember that scene happened where Clark got his ass kicked in that bar or that diner. So it's like, wait, so that did happen? So what happened in the plot then? Because like seemingly nothing, the whole story with Zod and everything, and Luthor breaking out, and like all that's gone, like everything, and also again like. That whole sacrifice of like having to like get rid of the last vessel of his father to like restore his powers to save humanity. That's like that was great, and then they literally undo that seemingly. So I'm like I really that ending really like knocked it down a rating a little bit for me. I was ready to give this movie like at least an 8 out of 10 like the first movie, but now it's at least a 7 out of 10 I would say, because I'm like, man, that ending just ruins it. Like I don't like that. It just completely undoes everything seemingly. Like I don't know, I didn't vibe with that. It didn't like that for me at all. It just didn't work. This is an edit I'm making literally minutes after I finished recording the video. I just want to say this quickly about like the ending with the time travel gangs. I forgot to say it, so that's why there's also the audio sounds different. I just packed up my mic and everything. Yeah, like the thing I don't like about the ending with the time travel is that it just feels like it's a crutch now, where it's like both films end on time travel. Like the first film feels like he does it out of just raw emotion and everything. Like, it's a sad thing. He just quite reacted on instinct and emotion, and he just did that. Again, it's silly. It's silly to think about in the prospects of how it all worked, but, like, that's fine. But here it's like, he's just doing it again where he's like, oh shit, a lot of bad stuff happened, and it's like, I guess better time travel. And, like, that's the kind of stuff a lot of people hate about time travel story, where you can just, like, undo stuff like that. And, like, yeah, I can't, like, it's dumb here. It just doesn't work. Again, it makes it worse that he seemingly undoes the whole movie. I just don't like that he kind of makes it a crutch that he does at the end of both these movies to, like, fix stuff that he's not happy with, so he time travels. I don't like it, man. Like Superman, you're not the Flash. The Flash is the one who's supposed to mess the timeline all the time because he's not happy with stuff. Like, don't you start being the Flash. Like, goddamn it, man. So, I don't know, and I guess I thought maybe, like, this film would end and you couldn't really add 3 and 4 to the continuity of watching through it. No, you could. It wouldn't matter. I mean, it would be weird then when you get to Superman at 4, like, oh, he can do his mind racing kiss, why didn't he do it in this one then? I don't know. Like, if you want to, of course, I guess. So yeah, like I said, my rating is a 7 out of 10. It's overall very good. Again, I do like it a lot. I think I definitely do like it more over the theatrical cut. Also, maybe watch the theatrical cut every now and then, because, like, there's still some good stuff in that film. Like, there's a bit more Superman stuff in that movie also. Like, the opening of that film does have, him going to save, what was it, the Eiffel Tower in the beginning of that movie? Or, like, some, like, mining shaft? I can't quite recall that, but there was some, like, big opening action scene he had early on in the film saving people. Like, and there's not too much Superman stuff. The only Superman thing you get for a while, not counting the, recap stuff at the beginning, is him saving the kid falling off Niagara Falls, and then not Superman for a while until, he has to fight the Zod and everything. So, like, I'll say that, really. Which, there's not a lot of Superman stuff also in the first film as well for a while, but I'll give that one leeway because it's an origin film, and that one works really well. Here I could have probably used a little bit more. It's fine, though. Yeah, again, like, it's just not a fan of how we just didn't get a lot of him being human, because I feel like it's a really cool idea, getting much of it. And then, the ending, I just think is kind of, it's a little dumb. I don't like it. The ending also does end with him flying off into the space and looking at the camera, like, smile at you. Doesn't do this, but he just smiles, you know what I mean? Another thing also that I want to say about the theatrical cut and this cut, Gene Hackman did not come back for any of the reshoots for the theatrical cut because he was so annoyed at them firing Donner and respected Donner a lot. Like, he's how Hackman got on board is Donner pitched it to him and everything. So he refused to come back for him and everything. So every scene in this film with Hackman as Luthor is the same. So, yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's a good movie. I definitely highly recommend checking this out. It's still a really fun, fascinating to watch, see what this film was supposed to be back in 1980. Again, it's on Amazon to rent or buy. It might be, I don't know, again, I bought the Blu-ray here, obviously, or this was a Christmas gift, so, yeah. But I don't know, there is a box set of, like, the Superman films on Blu-ray that includes all the Reeve films and the Superman Returns. I don't know if this is on there. It might be. I'd be kind of shocked if it's not, because why not include it? Because it's like, it's solid. I really enjoy it. Last insert edit, I gave the theatrical cut of Superman 2 a 6 out of 10 and the Donner cut a 7 out of 10, so it's a rating higher than the theatrical cut. So, yeah, I forgot to say it. I'm saying it now. I'm sorry. There's also, like, a bunch of special features on this film that, like, I definitely want to check out to see exactly all it's changed, but more than likely tomorrow I'll go watch, like, Miss Sunday Movies, like Caravan of Garbage, talking about this cut, because I've been waiting to watch this episode, because I'm a big fan of Miss Sunday Movies. If you guys never watched their channel, great stuff over there. Really funny. Yeah, that'll be it for this episode of Geek Culture Talk, I guess. Me talking about Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. Yeah, great. I really enjoy it. Just wish the ending was better. And yeah, tell me, have you guys seen the Richard Donner cut? Do you plan to? If you have seen the Richard Donner cut, do you like this one more over the theatrical cut, or do you like the theatrical cut more than this one? Please let me know Please let me know down below, and also tell me how excited are you for the new Superman movie. I cannot wait. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all later for next Geek Culture Talk, whatever that may be. God damn it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys all for watching, and stay tuned for next video, whatever that might be. So yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.
Hey, it's Yuri Lowenthal here. You might know me from this Marvel Spider-Man games or other places as well. You're tuned in to 100 Bomb Studios. Hit like and subscribe, but only if you like really, really nerdy stuff. Because that's why I'm here.